During dinner, Ethan's phone buzzed. As I reached for the water glass near his device, his entire body stiffened. Only when he realized I simply wanted a drink did the tension leave his eyes. Masking his earlier reaction, he grabbed his phone and stood. "Finish your meal. I need to use the restroom." I smiled innocently, pretending not to notice. 12 years of knowing Ethan meant I could decode his every mannerism. That split-second hesitation told me everything secrets lived in that phone. Though we'd filed our marriage license last month with our December wedding announced to everyone, I refused to become a cautionary tale. For now, I'd watch silently. Later, while designing wedding invitations, I caught Ethan's furtive typing in the TV screen's reflection. Before I could ask for help, he sprang up. "Jake says there's a work emergency. Don't wait up, babe." His lips brushed my cheek in a practiced gesture before he vanished. From my window, I watched him jog to his car at 9 p.m. Dialing Jake brought stammering denials. The project? Yeah. I asked Ethan to check something. My last hope for a decade-long relationship shattered like dropped china. His late nights accumulated like dirty laundry. Evenings became transactional exchanges before he'd retreat to rest. Midnight often found him still scrolling. When I suggested separate rooms for his work needs, my heart crystallized into ice. I began weaponizing domesticity. That afternoon at the furniture mart, my rescue me call made him pause. Yet he arrived promptly, car smelling of unfamiliar perfume. The passenger seat's new position screamed its adjustment history. Smiling through nausea, I asked for his phone. 3 failed password attempts with my birthday confirmed what I already knew. Quitting my job for wedding planning now felt tragically naive. His 6-figure salary had blinded me to the gilded cage. Now my unemployment granted unlimited surveillance time. Next morning, I wiped my cheek raw after his goodbye kiss. The taxi trailed him to a gated townhouse community where no corporate offices existed. 10 minutes later, his car emerged with Sophia in my seat. The woman he'd mocked for years, her midnight love letters once our shared joke now wore my lipstick shade. White day unfolded like a horror montage. Their intertwined hands at the crosswalk. His genuine laughter during rom-com previews so different from our performative chuckles. Through storefront mirrors, I documented their intimacy until my shaking finger dialed his number. Sophia's understanding "I'll give you space" met Ethan's panicked grip. "Don't answer." My screen lit with lies. "In meeting. Call later." As they disappeared into a love hotel, I became an audio forensic team, mechanically recording my husband's betrayal through thin walls. Each moaned Ethan from Sophia's lips tightened the invisible vice around my heart. I don't know how much time passed before the neighboring apartment finally quieted down. Another half-hour later, I heard a door slam. I continued trailing the pair silently. At noon, Ethan accompanied Sophia to meet her friends, another couple. Like an outsider, I observed their joys and sorrows through my camera lens. In the final frame, Sophia turned to look directly into my camera. She didn't seem surprised to see me, even gracing me with a slow, deliberate smile. I was certain Sophia wanted me to know about her existence. She aimed to force me into initiating the divorce. Staring at photos I'd taken days earlier showing my husband tightly clutching another woman's hand, I laughed bitterly at myself. I'd once vowed that if our marriage ever collapsed, I wouldn't take a single penny from Ethan. But if infidelity caused our divorce, that changed everything. The crimson wedding invitation on the living room table glared at me, its photo of the embracing couple making me want to burn every last copy. A sudden knock interrupted my thoughts. Hesitant, I approached the door as twilight approached. Peering through the peephole, my vision swam. Sophia stood there radiant in an off-shoulder top and skinny jeans, effortlessly chic. Meanwhile, I wore faded loungewear with no makeup, utterly eclipsed by the smug homewrecker. Forcing a smile, I opened the door. "You must be Ethan's wife, Emily?" Sophia chirped, extending a fruit basket. "I'm his colleague, Sophia. We've been working closely on a project lately. He's been so patient with me. Her eyes bored into mine, hungry for any sign of distress. Playing dumb. I accepted the basket. Now I remember. Ethan kept complaining about work frustrations. Guess he finally got proper support. My smile widened. Instinct told me Ethan hadn't sanctioned this visit. Part of me thrilled at imagining his reaction to finding Sophia here. While cooking, I watched Sophia study our wedding photos. She soon invaded the kitchen. "Let me help. I hate being alone," she declared breezily. Ethan and I are practically inseparable at work. Clenching a muddy vegetable, I shoved it into her manicured hands. "Don't mind if you do, Sophia." Ethan's always collecting stray friends. His mother used to call them bad influences. Her smile faltered. I continued cheerfully. "But you're clearly not some home-wrecking floozy. At your age, you'd know better than to overstep." The faucets roared round her silence until she tried again. No wonder Ethan rushes home. Any man would with such a devoted wife. The front door swung open. "Honey." Ethan froze mid-sentence. Face draining of color. Feigning innocence. "I rescued him, surprise. Sophia wanted to thank you properly since you keep rejecting her dinner invites." Shoving him toward her, I grabbed my purse. Perfect timing. Entertain our guest while I get salt. In the bedroom, I activated a tablet's recorder and discreetly placed it in the dining area. Returning, I found Sophia at the door. "So sorry, work emergency," she lied, triumph blazing in her eyes. Ethan stood composed behind her, already spinning new deceptions. That night, Ethan clung like guilt incarnate, even helping with wedding favors. "We'll be happy, right?" he whispered, sealing wax envelopes. I humored him, sawing through cardstock with violent precision. Each shredded piece became his face in my mind. When he insisted on sharing our bed for the first time in months, I stared at the ceiling, counting hours until my recorder captured their inevitable reunion. Today, my period came and I felt unwell. I used menstrual cramps as an excuse to avoid physical contact with him. Every time I remembered those hands touching things they shouldn't, I wished I could chop them off. "I'm not doing anything. I just missed you." Ethan climbed into bed without asking, pulling me into his arms after lying down. The moment his skin touched mine, my scalp prickled with numbness. I stiffened in his embrace, listening to his breathing gradually even out. When I confirmed he was asleep, I grabbed my tablet and slipped into the bathroom. The recording revealed Ethan's angry voice. "What's wrong with you? What game are you playing? Keep this up and we're through. You've crossed the line." Sophia's small sobs followed. "I'm sorry, Ethan. I was wrong before. I just love you too much." Emily was right. I've been acting despicable. When Sophia's crying intensified, Ethan's tone softened. "She insulted you?" Instead of answering, Sophia's weeping grew louder. "Emily's truly wonderful. This is all my fault. I didn't want to come today. But after my impulsive marriage proposal that day, you stopped talking to me." I was terrified. The sickening sound of kissing followed, making my stomach churn. Ethan's muffled voice murmured, "As long as you stay, I'll never leave. What we have transcends paperwork. You know I love you, Sophia." Returning the tablet, I wandered to the kitchen. Moonlight glinted off the knife block as I poured myself icy water with trembling hands. Transferring the recording to my phone. "Not yet. Still need to wait." Ethan monitored me closely for days, leaving phone visible, keeping rigid work schedule. When my behavior remained unchanged, his vigilance gradually faded. Tonight during dinner, I felt his gaze burning into my scalp despite avoiding eye contact. "Sweetheart," he finally ventured, "I need to go on a 3-day business trip to Lynn City tomorrow." "Market research?" I supplied the expected script. He nodded absently. Take care of yourself. Video call whenever you miss me. The irony almost made me smile. His presence had become the real burden. My private investigation revealed Sophia had a fiancé back home, James. An accomplished lawyer from good family. They'd held wedding ceremonies but never legally registered. Conveniently, James was currently in Hoosier. I dialed his number. After brief explanation, we arranged to meet. Unlike Ethan's pretty boy looks, James resembled more of a bodyguard than attorney. You claim Sophia's involved with your partner? He cut straight to business. Evidence? I displayed photos and videos. His professional mask never slipped. Understood, he finally said, handing me his card. These constitute privacy violations with no legal standing. Contact me if needed. Dial provide admissible evidence. Ethan returned from his business trip looking haggard. I dutifully prepared nutrient-rich meals. Work troubles? I asked, knowing full well he'd been celebrating Sophia's birthday. Just busy, he deflected, patting my head with mechanical affection. Don't worry, sweetheart. My knife hovered over fruit as fake concern dripped from my lips. In our bedroom, I retrieved a burner phone, the screen frozen on sent messages. Ethan and Sophia's affair, evidence delivered to his boss. No corporation would risk scandal over mediocre employee. When his phone chimed later, I followed muffled footsteps to the bathroom. Sophia's voice floated through the door. I regret nothing. Losing everything's worth it if I keep you. Surprising. I expected rage, not martyrdom. But her noble act only deepened Ethan's guilt. Perfect. His suffering was the real goal. That night, I pretended to stir as Ethan entered our room. Did I wake you? His hollow concern almost felt genuine. Maybe visit our parents this weekend? I suggested. They miss us. His parents' counterfeit affection mirrored his during past conflicts. Mrs. Miller rallied relatives to blame me while advising Ethan to minimize dowry. The next evening, exhausted, Ethan agreed. Your place first? I smiled. If Sophia could play saint, I'd outdo her kindness. During the unannounced visit, I watched Ethan's forced smile mirror his parents. The Millers' effusive darling daughter greetings couldn't hide their calculating eyes. I squeezed Ethan's hand, savoring his flinch. This was just the beginning. As expected, upon seeing us, Mrs. Miller tightly gripped Ethan's hand, her voice trembling with emotion as she stammered. Son, how did you get so thin? Is work stress too much? She then glanced at me with thinly veiled sarcasm. Has Emily not been taking good care of you? The edge in her voice sharpened. Didn't she quit her job to live off you? Is this how she looks after you? Despite the late hour, Mrs. Miller prepared an elaborate dinner. I noticed Ethan wanted to speak privately with his parents. Under their frosty glares, I deliberately lingered over the meal before pushing my plate away. I'm tired. I'll rest first. Retreating to the room now serving as storage since Ethan moved out, I lay facing the wall. The faint creak of the door revealed someone peering in before retreating. Moments later, Mrs. Miller's caustic whisper carried through the thin walls. I'd never have let my son marry her without her family's money. Lazy freeloader living off my son. Yet she can't even feed him properly. Keep your voice down, Mr. Miller warned. I scoffed silently. Then came Ethan's hushed confession. Mom, I don't want to go through with the marriage. The abrupt silence shattered with Mrs. Miller's incredulous outburst. Did she upset you again? I warned you about her. Weren't you ready to die for this relationship? Her tone shifted to pragmatic alarm. We've already sent invitations. Collected gifts. We'll be the laughingstock. And her father's promotion could still benefit your career. When Ethan remained silent, Mr. Miller pressed. Why this change? You chose this path. The dam broke. I don't love her anymore. Ethan's strained voice exploded. There's someone else. okay? Hearing those words brought relief rather than pain, freedom from this charade. The truth settled like dust after an explosion. After a prolonged silence, Mrs. Miller probed. Someone else? Better connected than Emily's family? Ethan's silence spoke volumes. Love whoever you want, she hissed. But no divorce now. She could ruin you if this gets out. Mr. Miller grunted approval. Keep your affairs quiet. We have appearances to maintain. The toxic hypocrisy almost made me laugh aloud. Truly, rotten apples don't fall far from the tree. Ethan never came to bed. Next morning, Mrs. Miller hung laundry with saccharine cheer. Good morning, dear. Breakfast is ready. I mirrored her fake smile, the hatred in her eyes poorly concealed. Mid-meal, Ethan texted, meeting Luke and the guys tonight. Let's visit Mom tomorrow. Luke Thompson, our college friend. Since my place was nearby, I left alone. By 9 p.m., scrolling through social media, I froze at Luke's deleted post-day cozy dinner photo. 6 familiar faces, including Ethan leaning subtly toward Sophia. Their body language screamed intimacy despite careful distance. Ethan's call came instantly. Just got home. He lied smoothly over dead silence. Heading to shower. Compelled by suspicion, I drove to our new home after texting him about feeling ill. A message left unanswered. Parked outside, I watched headlights approach. Ethan emerged with Sophia, gently draping his jacket over her shoulders in the chilly night. The numbness surprised me. Dialing James felt almost natural. His approaching car soon illuminated the street, the lawyer's casual hoodie making him look his age for once. Lights blazed in our apartment moments after James entered. Raised voices triggered neighboring lights as residents peered through curtains. The theater of our unraveling marriage played out in real time. Shadows dancing behind lit windows like puppets in a grotesque play. I took advantage of the chaos to go upstairs. The door to my wedding suite stood wide open, where James blocked the doorway, watching the panicked adulterous couple inside. Sophia's post-coital flush still lingered on her cheeks, her usually sleek hair disheveled. Ethan's neck bore fresh love bites with smeared lipstick traces on his mouth. The scene needed no explanation. Everyone present understood exactly what had transpired. Isn't that the eldest Miller boy? That woman doesn't look like his fiancé. Someone in the crowd muttered. Ethan's face flushed crimson. As he moved to slam the door, James barred his path. The woman you're illegally cohabitating with happens to be my lawfully wedded wife, James stated coolly. Did she neglect to mention our recent marriage ceremony? The color drained from Ethan's face as he noticed the forest of recording smartphones. We're just colleagues. You've no evidence, he insisted. I never realized how stubbornly he could cling to lies. Sophia looked equally mortified. We never filed the marriage license, she protested. We've already broken up. James raised an eyebrow. The legal issue remains that you've interfered in a protected marital relationship. There will be consequences. A young woman suddenly materialized from the crowd, delivering 2 resounding slaps across Sophia's face before Ethan instinctively shielded her. The spectators' camera shutters clicked furiously. I captured their embrace in perfect clarity before slipping away unnoticed. James found me waiting downstairs later. After the crowd dispersed, he approached my car and rapped on the window. Whether you divorce now or after the ceremony, your settlement remains identical, he advised professionally. Legally ending it now would minimize personal fallout. I shook my head. The wedding must proceed. Their entire professional circle and the Miller family will attend. This singular opportunity to publicly expose them is worth any personal cost. Realizing my thoughtlessness, I glanced apologetically at James. He misinterpreted my expression. Don't look at me like that. I'm actually feeling pretty good about myself. He chuckled, his stern features softening. If anything, I should thank you. As he drove off, The slap-happy young woman emerged from the shadows. That was awesome. Big bro. She cheered, hopping into his car. His sister, apparently. Our wedding suite sat in the Miller family's neighborhood. When I visited next day, their colleagues pretended complete ignorance of the scandal. The family's damage control sickened me. As our wedding date approached, Ethan's forced smiles grew rarer than his increasingly scarce visits. Watching his haggard appearance brought me vicious satisfaction. "Can you come wedding dress shopping tomorrow?" I asked during our midday call. Before he answered, Sophia's voice chirped through, "Is that Emily?" "Putting you on speaker." "Honey," Ethan hastily explained. "We're in a meeting. I'll call back." I smiled into the phone. Was that Sophia? Perfect timing. Since all my friends are married, I need a single bridesmaid. Would she consider it? Dead silence followed. "She's not," Ethan began. "I'd love to," Sophia interrupted. Thus began our bizarre friendship. At the bridal boutique, she tenderly adjusted my train. "We have such similar taste." "Emily," she murmured sincerely, "I adore everything you choose." Her radiant smile reflected in the mirror. "You look beautiful," I replied. During rehearsal, I watched them practice ring exchanges on stage. Their lingering gazes and suppressed longing would soon combust. The wedding day arrived. Well-wishers flooded me with congratulations. I genuinely returned today's spectacle would exceed all expectations. Entering the banquet hall, I paused to admire the looping slideshow of our engagement photos. As lights dimmed, the screen flickered to surveillance footage of hotel trysts and passionate embraces. The frozen silence shattered with the Millers' frantic attempts to kill the projector. Ethan stood paralyzed like a broken marionette while hundreds of phones documented his ruin. The photo montage ended abruptly as the camera suddenly zoomed in on Sophia beside me. The speakers erupted with her unrestrained moans from intimate moments with Ethan. Mrs. Miller collapsed instantly, clutching her chest. I watched Ethan's boss storm out while the groom stood paralyzed, his hollow gaze fixed on the chaos. Amidst the erupting whispers, I slipped away unnoticed. Our farcical wedding concluded to the distinct siren of an ambulance. Through my lawyer James, I claimed nearly the entire Miller fortune without ever facing the family again. At the divorce office a month later, Ethan resembled a vagrant, unshaven, disheveled. All former charm evaporated. "Honey, let me explain." He lunged at me. I recoiled from his touch, disgust twisting my features. He froze, more broken than during our wedding catastrophe. Outside, he kept pleading. "Sophia and I ended it. Give me another chance." News of our scandal had spread like wildfire online. Cyberbullied and doxxed, Sophia now battled severe depression and psychiatric care. I moved to hail a cab when a black SUV pulled up. James rolled down the window. "Get in." Without hesitation, I left Ethan gaping on the curb. His shrinking figure in the rearview mirrored our dead romance. Meeting James' concerned glance, I smiled wryly. "Don't look at me like that. I'm doing just fine." His booming laughter filled the car. "I've always believed karma finds those who break faith. Everyone gets what they deserve eventually."